So I don't know if you guys have picked up. I wrote a book about all of this. I don't know if you guys have picked that up. Highly recommend it if you are exiting or if anything. If you any transition in life, you'll resonate with it. But because we all have them, you live long enough, you're going to have a couple different chapters in your life that need to get. You're going to have to turn the page and create the new chapter. So when I got out, I got a job doing almost the same shit, just making 3 times as much money, like we all do, right?
Yep.
And yeah. And then when I got done with that job, I started a training consulting company doing the same shit. I just thought I could do it for myself. But the whole time, man, I'm a wreck. I'm absolutely a wreck. And it took me 3 or 4 years to really get my shit together and get an ownership of what I was doing. I mean, almost to the point, like you on the podcast with John, I was not expecting him to ask that question, by the way, Aaron. I don't know if you could tell it, like hit me. He was like, oh, yeah. We're doing this. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And he just, to his credit, man, he just jumped in both feet and so did you. But that was, like I was telling you before we got on, man, that was one of those things that you said that I thought, no kidding, that I was the only person that thought those things inside of my head. And to hear you and John expound and dive into it, and for you to continue to talk and just live in that uncomfortable place, which you talk about frequently with your 5 a.m. ice baths and with the things that you do, like you have to be uncomfortable. I'd be remiss if I didn't put it out there. Nick's book is called Excommunicated Warrior. You can find it on nickkoumalatsos.com. We'll add it to our reading list as well on our page, so you can find that out, and we'll link it here in the comments. But I wanted to get that out there.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Of course,
yeah, it led me all the way down to, basically an incident on the beach where I had planned to, take my own life, and not because I wanted to die. Like, and I think I talked about that on the podcast. And I say it in the book. It's not because I don't really think people that commit suicide want to die. I think they're in so much pain. They're so mentally exhausted. They just want a time out. They want a break. They want the depression, the pain, everything they're dealing with is just a break, like a pause. But unfortunately, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And I think you catch an individual in a very dark spot where they just want the pain to stop for a second. So they make that choice. The problem is that pain doesn't stop. That pain is transferred to the loved ones. That energy never is released until it's been dealt with. So all you're doing is copping out and then passing that pain to someone else that they now have to deal with and process, which is super fucking selfish. Yeah. So, anyways, so, it takes me some time, but what I did was, and what people don't do is you don't do the hard work. And for me, fortunate enough for me, as the universe provided, I got some really, really great people in my life who really cared about me and cared about people in general. And they held me. They didn't tell me what I wanted to hear. They told me what I needed to hear. Okay. But I also, because of my background, now don't get me wrong, I'm not standing here and say I didn't do anything wrong. I fucked up for a long time. But what I did do is I remembered who the fuck I was and what I had in the tank. And I had a reel went viral. And if you read the comments, oh my God, they ripped me apart. But I said, I don't understand. I'm
sure those people understand you and gave you some good input there. Did you internalize those comments at all, Nick?
No. Love comments. I feed it. I'm like,
nice.
I poke the bear when they start. I'm like, yes.
Samesies.
Feed the fire. Yeah. But I'm a little more evolved now, so I don't really. You're not going to hurt my feelings on the internet. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no such thing as internet bullying. Watch this. Close the screen. Boom. Bully goes away.
It's magic.
Crazy.
Go back to the 80s or 90s when bullies were in your face. That's a different story.
Yeah, you might actually have to fight at that point. What was the reel about? What were the comments?
So what it was this, and I can send it to you, and you'll love it. And if you share it, you'll get a ton of comments. People it'll just like flood the whole comment section.
I'll post it right now. I don't care. Let's go.
So basically what I said was, I don't understand. And this was an excerpt of a 10-minute video of me talking about disabled veterans.
Sure.
Okay. And the point, the video is being a disabled veteran is not a job.
Right.
Yeah.
You can be disabled. That's fine. You can be 100% permanent and total disabled. That's not a fucking job. And my point is these guys that do this and then they go sit on their ass and they're like, well, I'm disabled. No, dude, you get a paycheck you get a check from the VA. That's not your fucking job. You need to go get a job.
Yep.
Because what happens to those individuals is they get fat, they get depressed, they're fucking sitting in their house jacking off the porn all day. They have nothing going on, and they wonder why their life and they wonder why they're like miserable.
Right.
So what I said was, I don't understand the dysfunctional veteran. I don't understand this whole dysfunctional veteran label that people almost wear like a badge of honor. Like, this is not the end all be all. So you can tell me, this is what I said. You tell me, you go down range, you take the fight to the enemy, you're a fucking badass warrior. You tell everybody how much of a badass you are. And then you turn around, you come back home, and civilian life is your kryptonite. That's what gets you. Being in America as a civilian, that's where you lose. Come on, dude. I'm not buying anything.
I have seen that reel.
That is I saw that reel and I didn't even react to it. I was like, no, that's right. And I just went on with life. It wasn't even that hot of a take to me. I was just like, well, yeah, no, that's not it. Yeah, of course. Yeah. What kind of stuff? You know, I always try to explain to people too, like the whole internet thing is so freaking weird. Like, you're telling me you want to be this super powerful badass MF, and then like you go on an anonymous account and you troll other people like mill vets with, you know, whatever, like, get out of here. Like, what are we doing here? So, man, I find that utterly hilarious, but it's also true. If those people were still if they had those personality, you know, okay, well, I'm just going to sit around and I'm going to go to the doctor every single day and I'm not really going to put my fit. You'd be like, you're malingering. The military would actually punish you. So on one hand, you're saying, oh, well, I'm a disabled military veteran. I can't do anything. And I'm now essentially a ward of the state getting a check from the DOD. But on the other hand, you're like, I have all these experiences. The person that the person that you were when you were in would 100% bully the person who you are now for saying 100%. These exact things.
You call yourself a pussy.
100%. You and your other friends in the team room. Exactly. You'd be like, look how fat this guy got. He got injured one time. He sees the doctor 5 times a week. He doesn't do anything to fix himself. He just complains. You'd be like, you're not allowed in the team room. Get out of here. Yeah.
So the comments are like this. They're like, this guy must be a pogue, or this guy doesn't understand what he's talking about. Bad take. Like, he doesn't know. And I just go, I'm like,
great.
You might want to Google me, motherfucker. like Google, bitch. Like, use it.
What a fantastic thing.
They've never been in a team room, obviously, because guys that have been shot or injured before in the past, like, all we do is make fun of them. Like,
yes.
Oh my God, I got shot in the ankle 15 years ago.
I have friends with one leg that I make fun of.
Right.
You have to.
It's good for them.
But that was my take, is like, I've got friends that, like, these guys that are like, yes, psychological trauma is real. All right. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
It is not a scapegoat to not proceed in life, to not do the work. All right. My point of that whole thing is, I've got people, like, guys are like, well, my shoulder and back hurt, and I've taken tramadol, and so I'm done. I'm like, dude, there's dudes with no legs and no arms that are making fucking $1 million a year that are vets.
Yeah.
Like, they're disabled. Being disabled is not their job. They have created businesses. They go speak. They go do all these amazing things. And you're like, well, that's not me. I can't do that. Yeah, you're right. You don't have to do it in a wheelchair. You can actually walk on stage, fucker. Like,
well,
what?